YouTube? Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking to Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Got a lot of exciting news going around, especially with the Auburn program when it relates to recruiting. And I just want to help a lot of the Auburn fan base out. Well, one, we look back to the 2020 recruiting class ranked number 7 in the country. Probably would actually be higher if some of these things were factored in. Now, a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, I can't remember, Malcolm Johnson Jr. out of St. Stephen's and St. Agnes High School in Alexandria, Virginia, 6'1", 185 pounds, .9378, which makes him a middle-tier, high-end, four-star recruit, commits to Auburn. But here's the catch. He was supposed to be for the 2021 class, but as it turns out, he's immediately eligible to play for the Tigers this year, which adds crazy depth to the receiver position, which we can talk about. We're actually going to talk about in a different video. But Auburn, there have been some skepticism over the past few weeks as to whether the pandemic or things of that nature was affecting Auburn's recruiting efforts, but absolutely not. Auburn has not only been able to recruit on a high level, but they've been able to recruit transcontinentally, which I think has been cool. But this particular recruit comes in, to be fair with you, this is in Auburn's backyard. Florida, a lot of the guys from Florida actually don't mind coming to Auburn. Auburn has a lot of recruits that come from Florida to come up to Auburn. It's an easy sell, for example. Like Tallahassee, for example, is only like 3.5, maybe 4 hours away from Auburn. So that's not a big deal. So when we think about the 2021 recruiting class and we think about, Auburn continuously becoming more creative, becoming more diverse with this class, is almost getting to the point where it's like, hey, these guys are really doing a great job of building roster, building depth. And when you really look at the class, if it weren't for, Ahmari and Gooch, who's at 0.8581%, and I think he probably is better than that, and Garner Langlow, who is 0.8614%, a tight end at 0.8709. See, these are all guys who are not necessarily skilled players per se, and they can be developed within their craft. So I think if you really looked at it, if these guys are rated just a little bit higher, about a whole different trajectory of the recruiting class. But the biggest story, a lot of people are talking about it, is the fact that Auburn has been able to acquire Ahmari Harvey out of Florida State University School out of Tallahassee, Florida. Now, he's listed as a .9250 recruit, and most of you guys know that these are my favorite type of recruits because these are those roster building recruits. Yeah, I love 5 stars. You got Derrick Brown and Marlon Davis, who probably should have been a 5-star. Carnell Williams was a 5-star. Rock Thomas was a 5-star. He had the talent, but it just didn't work out. But my favorite types of players in this particular schematics is those guys between 96 and like 90. You know what I'm saying? Because those are developable, for lack of a better way of putting it, players. And those are your roster builders. That's how you build depth. And if a lot of y'all really think about it, the real reason, no matter what you want to say, no matter how you try to cut the cookie, the real reason that Auburn has not been able to survive down the stretch is because of depth. You look back to 2017. There's no reason that a Power 5 football team should collapse because of one running back going down in Carnell Williams. There's no reason in 2016 that a Power 5 team should collapse because of Sean White, getting injured and you just have no other options. Gus Malzahn and his coaching staff have figured out depth is the name of the game. You want to know why Auburn's got 6 quarterbacks in the quarterback room It's because if Bo Nix goes down, there has to be a viable candidate quarterback-wise to follow suit. Auburn has really just got lucky, even with the wide receiver recruit. You look at this thing, Auburn has got lucky with the wide receiver recruit from the 2020 class. He was actually in 2021, but wound up being, because of this whole pandemic, because he's able to early enroll. Auburn cashed in on Malcolm Johnson Jr. out of Alexandria, Virginia. A .9378 recruit. So you can't tell me this guy's not at least halfway decent, because usually when you get up in the plus 90s, you're pretty good. But let's get back to the subject at hand. Auburn has actually gotten another recruit, is within the top 20 of the 2021 recruiting class. And I'm going to tell you guys, I really like Ahmari Harvey. And why are so many people big on a .9250 recruit? Well, for one, he's number 8 in his position nationally, number 26 in the state of Florida, 177 nationally. He's a good football player. And when you look at the intangibles of Ahmari Harvey, the guy's very opportunistic. What have you not seen as a whole from Auburn, secondary-wise, is opportunism. This man interception where it looked like he had made the tackle, but it was actually an interception, and I think he took it all the way back to the house. This is the kind of playmaking type ability that Auburn needs in their secondary. Yeah, you want to have some guys that can cover and blah, 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 but you want to have some guys that can make plays, and that can make plays like this that can change the trajectory of, say, a Georgia game or a Florida game or a game that is on the line where this guy can make the difference. See, you got to have guys that can make difference-making plays, and he's a very good tackler. There was one particular play where he pretty much in open space with blockers made a tackle. Here's the deal, guys. Ahmari Harvey is a very valuable recruit in this particular class for a lot of reasons. Number one, literally stole this guy out of Florida State's backyard. That's big in and of itself. And number two, Auburn has to continue to help themselves with the secondary depth. All the wide receivers being converted to cornerbacks, that stuff has to end. If you're going to put yourself in a position to win championships, whether it's the SEC West, the SEC Conference, or even put yourself in the college football playoffs and let the chips fall as they may, these things have to stop. Okay? Big recruit for Auburn. Ahmari Harvey. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Talking Auburn football. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War Eagle.